There's a moment many people don't talk about after awakening. You become more present, more aware, more conscious of thought and emotion, and yet, you still feel anxiety, you still react, you still suffer. And what makes this especially confusing is that you know you're aware while it's happening. So the question quietly forms, if I'm aware, why isn't this over? If you've ever wondered that, this video isn't here to correct you. It's here to clarify something almost everyone misunderstands. The continuation of suffering is not a failure of awareness. It's a sign that something deeper is ready to be seen. Welcome to Mystic Reflections, a space where we explore awareness, consciousness, and the deeper truth of who you really are. Today we're going to look at why awareness alone doesn't end suffering, what awareness actually does, and the subtle place where suffering continues to hide. Many people come to awareness through meditation, inquiry, or spontaneous insight, and often there's an unspoken expectation. Once I'm aware, life should feel lighter. So when suffering continues, the mind immediately looks for explanations. I must not be present enough. I lost it. I need to deepen awareness. I'm missing something. But here's the truth. Awareness never promised to end suffering. That promise was added later, by the mind. Awareness reveals reality. It doesn't reorganize it to match our preferences. Think of awareness like sunlight entering a room. It illuminates everything, the beauty, the clutter, the things you forgot were there. But light doesn't rearrange the furniture. In the same way, awareness reveals thought patterns, emotional reactions, survival responses, conditioning. But awareness doesn't automatically undo the sense of someone at the center of experience. And that's important, because suffering doesn't come from what appears. It emerges from the sense of a self to whom experience seems to be happening. Suffering requires 3 ingredients. 1, experience. 2, resistance. 3, a center that claims it. Remove any one of the 3, and suffering weakens. Awareness handles the first part beautifully. It makes experience visible, but resistance and ownership can remain quietly. So suffering doesn't disappear. It becomes more subtle, less dramatic, more confusing. Here's where many sincere seekers get stuck. The old identity, the thinker, the doer, the controller, loosens. But identity doesn't vanish. It relocates. Instead of, I am my thoughts, it becomes, I am the one aware of thoughts. This feels expansive, calm, even free. But it's still a stance, and any stance quietly demands energy, even when we aren't aware of it. So when life challenges that stance, subtle suffering returns. This explains why people say, I'm aware of the emotion, but it still hurts. I can observe anxiety, but it doesn't dissolve. I know this isn't me, but it feels personal. Because awareness is present, but experience is still being referenced to a subtle sense of self, not a loud ego, a quiet one that believes, I shouldn't be disturbed by this anymore. And that belief is suffering. Let's be clear. Awareness is not the problem, and more awareness isn't the solution. The misunderstanding is expecting awareness to do what only non-ownership can do. Suffering ends when experience isn't resisted, awareness isn't used, and no position is being defended, not even a spiritual one. The end of suffering doesn't come from doing something differently. It comes from seeing something honestly, specifically where experience is still anchored in a subtle someone. Not to remove it or to fight it or to try to change it, but simply to see it clearly. And what's seen without resistance doesn't hold its grip. Pain may still arise, emotions may still move, life may still challenge what feels stable. But without the quiet someone holding on, suffering no longer finds a foothold. It loses the fuel it once depended on, and what remains is simply the flow of experience itself. You can't drop the self. You can't destroy identity. You can't apply awareness like a technique. All force does is strengthen the sense of someone trying to get rid of something, which is the very mechanism suffering depends on. This is why gentleness matters. Clarity ends suffering, not effort. At a certain point, something shifts naturally. Awareness stops being yours. It's no longer something you hold on to, no longer something you return to, no longer something you use to stay okay. It's simply what's happening. And without ownership, suffering can't anchor itself. This doesn't mean life becomes painless. It means pain is no longer personal. Emotions arise and move. Challenges appear and pass. But there's no inner commentary insisting this shouldn't be happening. And without that commentary, suffering quietly loses relevance. So if awareness hasn't ended suffering for you, that doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you've reached a place where honesty matters more than concepts. Nothing is broken, nothing is missing, and nothing needs to be fixed. If you'd like to continue exploring awareness beyond effort and identity, consider subscribing to Mystic Reflections. These reflections appear in their own time, not to give you something new, but to reveal what's been quietly waiting. Thank you for your presence. Until next time, stay with the mystery.